Slava Ukraini. Welcome to the Yukon in North 61. Okay, we're at about 5.5 minutes. And Aaron Snyder, one of the things he says about alcohol stoves is they're really great if you want to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And he talks about having attention deficit disorder and just not having the patience for it. Half the energy density of the other petroleum fuels, probably half the flame velocity, so you really have to protect it from wind, even a mild wind. I use this little blanket cloth. It's very light and it's got multiple uses, and it's like ceramic cloth.
There comes someone interested in the stove. A little chipmunk.
You got a chipmunk coming up?
He's around the other side of the rock. He's staying very still. He's not sure about us.
And we've run out of, oh no, we're still going. So the wind blew the stove out. So we never got a complete boil, but we got hot water. So,
Oh, and it's not even really windy.
no. That's the problem. So there's the stove. This stove was made by, what was that guy's name? Tinney from Mini Bowl Designs. I don't think he makes them anymore.
Yeah.
But this is a Sidewinder. It blows flame out the side. So it also acts as a stand. So that's 1.5 ounces or so or less. It's got a little wick there to get the flame going. But really, I don't know. I've given up on alcohol stoves. They just not hot enough. The other end from alcohol stoves are these really powerful gasoline stoves. So when I started camping in the 80s, these are two stoves that you could buy back then, and they're still really quite useful. This is a Spey 123. That's a little powerhouse. It's the one Colin Fletcher talks about. And this is, I think it's, what is this, a Ranger 99. And they have the same burner. You need to bring an eyedropper or put a little bit of gas in this little dimple or in that little piece, because you got to prime these. And when you prime them, what happens is you heat this generator and the liquid fuel turns into a gas, and it's actually the gas that burns. These also have a little pump that you put on this cap, and you can pump them up. And they put out about, with this pump, they put out about 7,000 BTUs, and they burn pretty quick. The nice thing about this 99 is it comes with a little, nice little windscreen, and this little top acts like a pot. So that's kind of cool. You just got this little lunchbox size thing. You put everything in there, and away you go. With a little more power, and the next generation of these types of stoves were these more kit type stoves. You got to put them together with a fuel bottle. This is an MSR. What is that? The International. Whisper Light International. So that burns gas like a little champ. And this will also burn kerosene and some different fuels. And you got to bring, of course, a pot with that. Here's the problem with these gasoline stoves. Because you got to prime them, because you're using gasoline, and gasoline is such a dirty fuel. It leaks, you get it on stuff, it's smelly. And because of the priming, it takes a while to get them going to full speed. So they're not as fast as you'd think, because you got to probably spend 2 minutes starting them. So that 2 minutes cuts into your burn time, and plus they're messy. And sometimes they're a little bit unreliable. Like, these are very reliable for their tribe, but they have gaskets. They have these rubber gaskets. They get dry. You have to know what you're doing with these gasoline stoves. So they're a little bit finicky. I stopped using them altogether. So I've really gone to canisters right down to -40, but I have abandoned anything with a flame because they're no good in the wind. You got to protect them all the time, and it's very, very difficult sometimes. So what do I use that's good in the wind? I use a flameless burner, like, check this out. This is my favorite. I only use this when I need a big pot. That is a flameless burner. And seems to work better in a wind. So this is the reactor system by MSR, and I'm about to show you a similar system called the wind burner, which is just a little less powerful. But that is a heck of a design, and it's so fast. This thing is so fast, like it seems twice as fast as a jet boil. And in the wind, it doesn't lose much. Sometimes, in fact, I think with a small wind, it's actually better than with no wind. This MSR is has a flameless or a windless, flameless burner. So that just glows. This little piece here glows red hot, and there's no flame. So it works just as well in a wind as when there is no wind. In fact, you can get almost better temperatures with a little bit of a wind. And it uses an isobutane cartridge. These cartridges have a little bit of propane, a little bit of isobutane, a little bit of butane. The propane is good to -40. The isobutane, I think it's about -18, -12. The butane only good to 0 centigrade. So these are really good stoves down to about -5. And this is the one I use for short trips with no more than 2 people, and it all fits together in there. The problem with the MSR is that it doesn't have a sparker, so you do have to bring something like this ferrocinium rod to start it. It also has a little cup, which I put tea bags in. So it used to be at that -10, -18 centigrade or 0 Fahrenheit, 5 Fahrenheit transition, I would go back to the gasoline stoves with all their disadvantages, until this little baby came along. And this was taught to me by renowned sheep hunter Richard Cherepak here in the Yukon. This is a Vega stove. It's by Optimus, and it's basically an inverted canister stove. So you start this baby with the canister, and you get the gasoline, either you get the propane or the butane, whatever is gasified. If it's really cold, it'll be the propane. It'll start your fire. But you notice that it comes through this generator. And once you get it all heated up, you simply invert your stove. You invert your canister rather. So this inverts. And now the gas goes to the top and it pushes the liquid down. So the butane goes, the isobutane goes, and then the propane goes. So right down to -30, this thing still works. So I use this all the time this winter time, melting snow. And it's an amazing stove, because when you've got it in this inverted position, you also go, I can't remember the numbers, I think you go from 8,000 to 12,000 BTU or something like that. It's really super powerful. And with this nice titanium pot, you really burn a lot. So when it's cold now, I just take this stove, and it's got all the advantages of the canister stove and all the advantages of the gasoline stove. And it's an amazing piece. I don't use gas anymore. Those are all relics to me now. If it's going to be below -35, I try to stay at home, but if I have to be out, you can also put these in your coat, because all you need is that initial pressure to drive it. I'm also always ready to start a wood fire, but and I've used this inside the Arctic oven where it's heated, so I've had no problems with this winter. But I imagine if you're going to maybe out below -35, you might want to bring that gas stove. That's kind of the last bastion of the liquid fuel stove. Thanks for watching.